How's it going? Seth Engle with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette here. I am at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, where Penn State just fell to Ole Miss 38-25 in the Peach Bowl. It was a game that was pretty ugly on both sides of the field. Obviously this was Penn State's first game without defensive coordinator Manny Diaz, now the head coach of Duke. It was kind of ugly on defense. This was a game that also, saw both starting cornerbacks, Johnny Dixon and Kalen King, out, as with defensive end Chop Robinson, and on the offensive side of the ball, offensive tackle Olu Fashanu, who's a projected top 10 pick. These are some pretty high-profile NFL draft prospects that Penn State was without. But excuses aside, there was just nothing Penn State could do in that second half. After sticking with Ole Miss for most of that first, to really narrow that deficit. Ole Miss, they came here with a pretty complete team and a very good roster. Overall, Jackson Dart, and that receiving core, was phenomenal. The tight end was phenomenal. And Penn State's, secondary just really did not have an answer. In place of Dixon and Kalen King, they had Cam Miller in there, who's projected to be the lead corner next year. And, he more or less struggled to contain, Ole Miss's lead guy. And then also, Daquan Hardy, who is going to the draft. Sometimes he flexed out of the nickel and played some true corner, and he struggled as well. And then the two freshmen, Elliott Washington and Zion Tracy, getting some action as well, corner. Just no answer. The whole game, defensive line wasn't as good as it's been. They were, Ole Miss had a pretty balanced attack where, they were able to find success on the ground with their star running back, Judkins, kind of threw their success through the air. Penn State was off balance, for the third and fourth quarters, and started to charge back with only a couple minutes left, and just couldn't really figure it out. You guys are good. You can walk fast. No, you're good. But anyway, so the story on offense is obviously the receivers, as it's been the whole year. Keandre Lambert-Smith has seen his targets, diminish significantly, over the past 3 games. He's had, 2 receptions, I believe it is, through the past 3 games, and he had 1 target today, no receptions. He declined comment when we had open lockers, after the game. But I did get a word with wide receivers coach Marcus Hagans, and he said we don't know what the future holds. He didn't give an answer on whether Keandre will be back next year. We know he has another year of eligibility, but, didn't really disclose anything. But, it's seeing more and more likely every day that, Keandre Lambert-Smith, might be playing elsewhere next year, just given the fact that he came in here as, the lead receiver in 2023, and he's getting 1 target in the bowl game. And that, Dante Cephas is another name who's been a bit of a disappointment this year after being a pretty high-profile transfer from Kent State. He didn't play at all today. He didn't see a snap, so he wasn't available post-game. Asked Hagans again, do you see Dante coming back? He doesn't know. They haven't had conversations apparently, but we will see in the coming days, weeks, months, what actually happens with this wide receiver core, and whether maybe they add a transfer. But with that being said, this wide receiver room has been, kind of a nightmare this year. Marcus Hagans, it was his first year in town, and they took a significant step back. And last year wasn't even a great season on the wide receiver core standpoint, but without Taylor Stubblefield, it really hasn't looked like a good transition. And when you got a young quarterback, a first-year starter in Drew Allar, you kind of need that core, and they haven't had it. So we'll see what happens. But that's a conclusion on the 2023 season. Penn State will finish the year 10-3. Next year things are changing. Conference realignment, Big Ten's going to be a little bigger, and playoffs are going to be expanded. Penn State has the opportunity now to, potentially make the playoff for the first time in program history next year. So this is going to be a relatively tumultuous offseason that's just getting going here. But it should be fun, and we will be around for more details and reporting and updates. But that's all we have right now on the receivers, specifically. So that's it for me, signing off on the 2023 season.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.